When we left Sunderland to join Olympique Lyonnais, our goal was simple: bring parity back to the country of France and bring Lyon back to the top of French football. Mission successful. Lyon now a world-class team within their own right, with a brilliant core assembled in the 4 transfer windows. On top of France by winning Ligue 1 for the 8th time in club history, back-to-back French Cups and a Super Cup as well. My job was done and I felt it was time to leave, despite not able to get them their first ever European honour. I looked down the list of jobs available. None really excited me too much apart from one. AS Roma had a diabolical season in Italy, finishing in 7th place in the Serie A and a whopping 29 points off the eventual winners Juventus, and in the Cup and Europe were knocked out in the quarterfinals of both stages in a trophyless season. With an incredibly aging team and 3 players retiring at the end of the season, including club captain Mancini and long-serving men Pellegrino and Dybala, the Roma team was on the brink of collapse and in need of a saviour. Reached out to Docksy boy and said, "Would you come to us, take your next challenge and try and conquer Italy like you did France?" I said, absolutely, I cannot wait for this challenge. AS Roma, our final chapter of career mode. What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. It is episode number 67 and we're back, brand new season, 8th year of Career Mode, and our 3rd and what will be final chapter of the save as well, as we begin with AS Roma. Just going to advance one day in the calendar real quick, because as you know, a lot of transfers go through on the 2nd day of the new season and not the 1st, so I just want to see if Roma have signed anyone for the new season that they agreed outside the January window. No, we haven't. So this will be the team for our first year at the Stadio Olimpico. Super excited for it. As you can see, not a lot of depth. Same problem we have with Lyon. And now, of course, we have to consider that because finally, after so many weeks, EA have added injuries into the game. Well, they were in the game before, but they very rarely occur. But now they do. But it's a team with some world-class talent. You know, Vlahovic is still there, but of course now in his 30s. You've got Simeone, obviously Diego's son. Bradley Barcola at full potential is, of course, the main star. But I probably will sell him in the first season. He's too good to not be playing European football of any kind. I must say, this is the kid I'm most excited about. This is a young fullback here, Cameroonian international, right back, not a left back for me. But he looks absolutely unbelievable, man, and super excited to use him this season. He'll be like our Valen team, who we inherited last season with Lyon. Great young goalkeeper as well, so don't need to worry about that. But no doubt about it, this Rome team does need a rebuild, and especially because if I didn't show you this in the introduction, I'll show you it now. About half the squad is out of contract come the end of the season. As you know, Dybala, Pellegrini and Mancini all retired come the end of the season. So maybe not half, but at least a third of the team out of contract come the end of the season. It's an issue. It's a big issue. We'll have to decide who's going to get new contracts and who can go. But as I always say, in my first year of a rebuild, no one is off limits. I always say my first season when inheriting a team, anyone can go if they want to. So there's some really decent talent here. Of course, you've still got Marash Kambula, the Albanian centre-half. Kone is one of my favourite players in career mode, but he can go as well at 31 too. And of course, the big star is Matthias Sule, who of course came through the Juventus Academy, now full potential. I wanted this guy to be one of my stars, but first season of a rebuild. I won't put him on the transfer list, but if he wants to go, he can go. So no one's going to get contracts, and I'll see if any bids come in for these players here. And as for the transfer budget as well, for our first season, 70 million, which is about what I was expecting. Yeah, it's a massive club in terms of marketability, AS Roma, but as we know, last season had a really poor year. Quarter-final knockouts both in the Cup and in the Europa League. So, oh, we are in a Conference League. Wow, okay, so we are in oh, that's because Napoli won the Europa League, isn't it? So we are in the Conference League this year. But of course, that's Europe's bronze competition. We've been asked to win a treble this season in our first year at the Stadio Olimpico. Rome wasn't rebuilt in a day, and it's not going to dominate in one season either. That's not going to happen. And don't forget, as we are playing in Europe, we need to worry about the homegrown ruling. As we play with this, we need 4 players that are homegrown and trained at the club through the academy. One is Filippo Reali, so he's out of contract come the end of the season, but actually I'll keep him just for the homegrown quota. Eduardo Bove is, of course, the star of the academy, lads. I believe that this lad, Luigi Cherubini, is also an academy graduate, and I think that's it. I think that's it. Correct me if I'm wrong, AS Roma or Italian football fans, but I think that's it. So we need one more player to make the homegrown rule. There's enough Roma Academy graduates out there. I'll find one. And in fact, I can do that right now. 2 goalkeepers that came through the Roma Academy. This actually moved on to Paris Saint-Germain. Will cost a bit more money. So because we will need to spend our pennies wisely in the first season, I'll just get the cheaper of the 2. So yeah, let's bring this lad back. Pietro Boer, 30 years old. Of course, we're going for the rebuild. We're going for the younger players. But just to make the homegrown quota set already, I don't have to worry about this for the rest of the summer window. So let's get this guy back on a very cheap deal, very cheap salary, just as a backup. Won't play, but he does help us hit the 4 homegrown players. And now we can start rebuilding properly. Obviously, you know who my number 1 target is, and I will be doing everything in my power to bring him back. Granted, Lyon on top of France, and he is in the Champions League this year, and we're in the Conference League. But we got a special connection, man. And I promised him coming to Roma as part of the rebuild. Like with Lyon, he'd step right in and be the leader, and I'd give him the captain's armband straight away. And to be fair, you know, one thing I am thinking about is if we were to go for him, Lyon want Bradley Barcola back. That could work. Well, I'll definitely be considering that. But the first sign I'm going to make is in the back line. We will need someone to come in to improve our defence this year, with Adarabai retiring coming the end of the season. Obviously, Mancini retired the end of last season, and this guy will be a perfect fit. Scalvini stayed at Atalanta throughout the course of the save, even though now he's in the prime of his career. 28 years old, 86 overall. They finished below us in the table last season. It's time for him to make the next step and play European football. Let's bring him in. I am almost definitely going to sell Sven Botman. So whilst I won't swap him to Atalanta, I could still swap one of the other aging centre-halves we've got here, to be fair. I mean, Kumbula, I don't think he's going to play for us this season. If that does soften the transfer fee too, I'd certainly take it. So we'll go Kumbula plus 40 million. That'll take it to just over the market valuation. To be fair, I think that would be a good deal for all parties involved. And Atalanta say, yeah, probably could have got him a bit cheaper than that, but I'm not going to say no to that. That's a decent deal there. Yeah, possibly could have got him a bit cheaper, but I'm not going to say no to what seems like a really decent deal for all 4 parties. This is what you call a win-win deal. Coming in on a 3-year, 75 grand a week deal. He's such a great player in career mode, and excited to use him for the first time in FC 26. Welcome to the Stadio Olimpico. Giorgio Scalvini. Yep, second signing of the rebuild. And like I said, we will be bringing in younger players, don't get me wrong, but for our first season, it's imperative we get back into top 4, so we do need to make sure we've got enough first team quality to compete for a Champions League place. This guy's definitely got it, and he's still getting better as well. Brilliant pickup. But of course, it does reduce our budget quite a lot, down to £27 million. Not even that, actually. So yeah, looking at the team, like I said before, it's the first season of a rebuild, so no one is off limits. If anyone wants to go, they can. But I would definitely say Bradley Barcola. As much as I'd like to keep him as the star, he's got to go on that really high salary, and too good for the team as well. Might sell Giuliano as well. Vlahovic is definitely going to go. In fact, I might put him on a transfer list, actually, because now, even though he's still a great striker, he's 32 and doesn't justify that salary anymore. And for Sven Botman, I'm going to do the same as well. Put him on the transfer list and sell him too. Yeah, no one is off limits in the first season, man. So yeah, I'm definitely going to rebuild most of the team here with Rome. This is going to be a really fun project. Oh, and annoyingly, I think Fabre's just had, he's just had the little overall spikes. When you leave a team, sometimes a couple of your youth players will have little overall spikes. Freddie's just had it by 2 to 90, so he might well be unaffordable in the first season, actually, after all. We'd have to sell at least 2 star players to get him. That's so annoying, man. I mean, it's great he's gone up, but not with us. That's the problem. So he might actually be unaffordable in our first season after all then. Oh, this is going to be such a challenge in the first season. I'm looking forward to it, don't get me wrong. But yeah, budget down to 27 million. I really don't know how to play this, because again, I want to make sure we get the quality to get us back into the Champions League. That's a must, but I also need to rebuild the team, bring in younger players, give it a new Italian core, which is the feel we're going for. This is going to be really tough. I'm super excited for this, man. Right, so Bologna want this lad, Ziolkowski. Wasn't planning to sell him in the first season, but if it will raise a bit of cash, which we're going to need, then so be it. We've got enough centre-halves here, I'd say, as I'm planning to bring in one more as well. I've got 18.5 mil. That's a bit over the market valuation, but hopefully they'll say yes to that, and they will indeed. This is going to be really tough. I said I was going to break the bank to bring Freddie Fabre in, but even if I do that, I would still need to do some some shady business, because I definitely can't afford him at this point. Chelsea want to bring in Vlahovic. Okay, it is going to be doable, but we need to be incredibly, and I mean incredibly, wise with our decision making with these transfers. I'll try and squeeze out an extra couple of million from Chelsea for Dusan, because, you know, he might be in his 30s now, but he's still one of the elite strikers in the world. 62.5 mil, they'll say, yeah. This is going to be tough. I'll do everything to bring Double F in. I know he wants to come to me, but not sure I have the cash. To be honest, I probably could have got a bit more for Vlahovic thinking about it, but I'll take the cash. Just wanted to get his salary off the books as we reinvest for the future. And with those two sales going through there, our budget will now rise to over 100 mil. If we combine that with Barcola, is that enough for Freddie? I'd say it's just about doable if they're willing to accept not much over the market valuation. It's so annoying he had that little overall spike, man. But of course, they're going to want Bradley Barcola by being an academy graduate, but I just don't know if we can get him in the first season. I will give it a go, but if Lyon price me out of the move, then so be it. I just have to accept it. And, you know, like in the first season with Lyon, we planned to bring back some star players. Couldn't do it. Had to look elsewhere. We may have to do the same thing again. And Fabre was one of those players we found. So maybe we'll do it again here. So we'll offer them Bradley Barcola. 77 million, market valuation is 117, so we'll go with 50 million plus Barcola, because that will be just over market valuation combined, and we'll still have money remaining. And again, this deal would make sense for everyone involved. They do want him, but with a bit extra cash, they are going to fleece me for Freddie. I can already feel it. Freddie Fabre wants to come with me. I've helped develop him into one of the best players in the world, and he's more than happy taking a year out of playing guaranteed Champions League football for a salary increase. And I've told him, mate, you come here, you'll be Roma captain straight away due to us needing a new leader here. 52.5 mil plus Barcola, who wants to return to the Champions League. Okay, we're getting there. I'm going to have to keep going cheap here, and I'm going to go 54 mil plus Bradley Barcola, which, to be fair, isn't a bad deal. And yep, Lyon will say, okay, yes, come on. I want Fabre with me. He said, Gaff, wherever you go, bring me with him. I am. He's coming to Rome. When Docksy announced he was leaving Lyon, Freddie Fabre said, wherever the gaffer goes, I will follow. And I said we'd have to break the bank to bring him in, and in the end, we got Bradley Barcola to Lyon, just not whilst I was there, which is what we planned to do at the Group Hammer Stadium. But coming with me to the Stadio Olimpico on a 5-year, 80 grand a week deal, and no doubt about it, he will become instant club captain as Roma begin their transitional period. He did it with Lyon, and I'm sure he can do it here as well. Welcome to AS Roma and the Stadio Olimpico. Frederick Fabre, the hero. We had to wait 6 years before we found a hero to save, but we have now, and it is the Frenchman coming in. He's going to take Rome by storm, no doubt about that. 90 overall, the star player. He will guide us to the Champions League and hopefully silverware in our first season too. That's the plan. A lot of pressure on the shoulders, but I'm sure he'll deliver once again. Yep, it's a Docs career mode. This is what we do in our saves. We get those heroes and they become the focal point of the save. And to be honest, just as important as my managerial career is the development of the player's career, the hero's journey as well. And Freddie Fabre has had a heck of a journey. Brought him in with Lyon, became the star instantly, guided us back to the top of French football, and now his new challenge with me is coming to Rome and taking us back to the top of Italy. So we still have a bit of money as well. We're not done for rebuilding. No, not at all. And all these guys are going to go as well. We've got Kone wanted by 2 different clubs here. I'll try and squeeze a few extra million out of Villarreal and was that Brentford as well, putting in the bids. We'll go 35 mil, and they will say no. Let's keep on negotiating. Hopefully should get at least a few extra mil for Kone. Oh, come on, guys. He's so good. He's such a good player. Don't skimp out on me, man. 31 million pounds, and Villarreal will say yeah. I've said before, for me, one thing EA need to do with the transfer negotiations, by the way, is like once you set a fee and accepted a fee from one club, you should be able to auto-reject any bids that come in that are under that. So with Brentford, I should be able to say, look, Villarreal have just given me 31 million. You have to meet the same, otherwise we won't negotiate. It's highest bidder wins after all. And that means when you do accept perhaps a higher bid, for example, maybe Brentford put in 31.5 mil, then we should be able to say to Villarreal, now you've got to meet that fee. Instead of having to always do it yourself, which takes a bit of time, I feel like you should be able to automatically set that. It makes things quicker, it speeds things up, and it'll be a lot more realistic too. So 2 more sales for the aging players. Sven Botman is back in the Premier League, but now with David Moyes' Nottingham Forest. I could see that, and I'd like to see it as well. I love Moyes, as you know, but he's gone to join the veteran Scotsman there at the City ground for 45 mil. Good fee that as well for the aging centre-half. And Kone has gone to Villarreal. One of my favourite players in career mode for his stats, but for 31 mil and an aging midfielder, that's a good sale that as well. So our budget now up to 124 mil. I might make one more signing and then leave it there and do all of the rest of the rebuilding in the next one. Split the rebuild up into 2 parts. Well, obviously, there's a lot of names on the shortlist I do want to bring to AS Roma. And to be fair, as we look for those good value for money deals, we obviously can't afford Guerrero in the first season. I do plan to bring him and Norton back at some point, and Arias too, but obviously not going to happen in the first season, is it? Lots of players we could bring in here, some on really good deals as well for under the valuation, but I'm going to go after a new centre-half. As we know, Adarabar is retiring coming the end of the season. We're probably going to sell Galaz, so with that being the case, let's go after the new Liverpool sign that's now moved on to Sheffield United. They were relegated last season, so now a second division side. Too good for the Championship. Let's bring him back to Italy. 81 strength, rapid when he gets going, but also technically an old school defender with the 88 ball control as well and decent short pass stat. Yeah, pretty solid young centre-half to come in and compete for a starting CB role. Let's go bring him in. I've always felt like when a player is part of a team that got relegated, that is obviously too good for the second tier, they should be put on the transfer list on occasion. Not always, but on some occasions, because you shouldn't be held to ransom for a player that's playing second division football. But it wasn't too much of an inflated transfer fee in the end, and coming in on a 5-year, 47 grand a week deal. Our 4th new signing, our 3rd from Italy, as we go for that strong nationalist core. Welcome back to the Serie A, Giovanni Leone. Yep, signing for Liverpool from Parma. Really decent young talent, as we know, but now in the prime of his career. Still getting better. Not sure what his potential is, to be fair, but great tackling defender with excellent strength and also good heading as well. But that will do it for today's episode of Career, guys. Thank you for watching the first episode of Season 8. If you've enjoyed it, please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. I'll return in the next one with the remainder of the summer window with AS Roma as we continue our rebuild at the Stadio Olimpico. We're still over 90 million in the budget. There's still plenty more signings to come. Rome wasn't rebuilt in one transfer window, but most of it will be in the next episode. Have a great day, guys. Much love to you all, and I'll see you for the next episode with part 2 of the rebuild of Rome very soon.